I want to know, like we often say in Hindi, ये मजाक हो रहा है क्या? Like a 309 run victory margin. Like one day cricket not too long ago, 300 was like a rarity. 300 was like wow. 300 was match winning. 300 was exceptional. 300 was once in a blue moon. That's what 300 runs meant in ODI cricket. Today we have seen a game, and that too, quite often we see such games when associate countries are playing amongst each other, or sometime, you're playing Papua New Guinea, somebody is playing,
Zimbabwe taking on USA.
Something like that. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a World Cup game. This is a game between Australia and Netherlands, which may not be a test status side, but let's not forget they've qualified for it, eliminating a team like West Indies. So it's no more like, just any game. This is the same team that's already upset South Africa in this tournament. So, all that in mind, a 309 run victory margin in an ODI game.
मजाक बना के रखा है.
Yeah,
Okay. Let me present a parallel universe to all our Netherlands fans and to all other cricket fans. You lost by 14 runs, only to David Warner's bat alone. You lost by 16 runs, slightly more sadder, to Glenn Maxwell's bat alone. And 21 overs, which means 126 balls. You lasted far less than the Maxwell and Warner combination, if you look at it. Just about. They batted far more balls. Look at Warner 93, 46. How much is that? 139. They occupied the crease for 139 balls. They have just occupied it for 126 deliveries. 13 less.
No, records, so these are multiple records, which I think we've already put some, reels out.
Yes.
Which you can check. One is the fastest century that Glenn Maxwell got in 40 deliveries. It's the fastest in the history of ODI cricket. What really actually gets my goat is the fact that just about 10 days ago, we saw the fastest century, 46 or 48.
49 balls.
49
Markram.
by Markram. What gets my goat is the fact that it came on the same ground. So what that tells you is that, I don't know, we can discuss about it. Should you have these kind of pitches, these kind of small boundaries for World Cup games? Because whatever it does, it does make the contest uneven. But just going on to the records, Glenn Maxwell has, I don't know if you know this one, and this is very interesting. Glenn Maxwell has become the first batter in the history of ODI cricket to get 100 after having faced his first ball after the 40th over. So no batter in the history of ODI cricket has come after the 40th over or faced the first ball after the 40th over. It could be 40.1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, and reached 100. So the first player ever in the history of ODI cricket.
And I feel a very big reason Netherlands have faced such a big defeat is also just that because they are not that big side, that's where the big teams and the small teams differentiate, that they were so down and out by the impact Maxwell left on them that they, according to me, they were out of the game in their heads also during the midpoint stage only, and that is what also impacted their batting. We have seen them getting to the 200 runs totals also against big teams, but I think that impact Maxwell had on them and the sort of innings he played with 8 sixes, I think there is when they thought that they are out of the game, and that clearly also showed in their batting.
No, I agree that sometimes it's that the big total that you start thinking about it too much, and then instead of getting anywhere close, it happens. But it happens at a very amateur level. I'm guessing. See, again, as I pointed out, this is a team that has played World Cups before. This is a team that's qualified, eliminating a team like West Indies. So they would know this is a team that has upset South Africa in this tournament. So they know all that. But this is where maybe you needed to have an approach like, let's say, Bangladesh. They were on the verge of losing a game like this just yesterday. But wherein the experience comes in, where you have a player like Mahmudullah who says, okay, we can't win this game. Let's go and salvage something out of it. So he gets 100. It's a perfect opportunity to get this. And if that is the kind of approach that Netherlands could have had, it would have helped them. But the only way you get out so quickly is when there's a big total and you think you're going to chase it down. So because you want to chase a big total, so you come and you're going to play attacking cricket that I have to chase it down. But I'm sure that also wasn't a conundrum that Netherlands were in, because at halfway mark they pretty much knew done. So if you knew done, then just go, play regular cricket, get a respectable total. Maybe somebody gets 100 to remember for posterity. That should be a focus. But also that's not how they got out. If you see their wickets from the start, it was an inside edge that got out, a run out, or a good delivery, or a leg before.
Good catching.
So basically, they were undone by better bowling. Like what you're saying is like sometimes a big total you do, but then that is when teams are playing these rash strokes and getting out. Here they were like sitting ducks in front of the Australian team. But and that brings me to the question which I want to know. I mean, should you be having games in like a Delhi sort of pitch where you've already had a world record total that South Africa got? This is as good as that. Are multiple records that they've got. For all you know, India would have got a few records had they batted first against Afghanistan. It's just that they reached the total so comfortably. Otherwise, they would have. So this, what it does is makes a mockery of our sport, because. And then it takes me to the ICC ranking. ICC is rated a couple of pitches poor because not too many runs were got, especially the ones that India played on. The Chennai pitch was Australia.
And the Ahmedabad one also.
And the Ahmedabad versus Pakistan. My point is, why should they be rated poor? This is a poor pitch for me, or conditions, where it's such a one-sided contest. It's not even like, close to being even. Okay, I'll still take it. You want to say it's a batter's game, 60-40 kar do, 70-30 kar do. This is like 90-10. Sort of a scenario. Don't do that.
I mean, see, you can also put Mumbai in that same bracket. I mean, they have also conceded a lot of 390s, 370 plus scores. And you look at it, South Africa have done that consistently. But then, if it was any other established team in the World Cup who would have gone, say for example, this reminds me of the South Africa-England game. England were absolutely blown away. They played so poorly, they lost by 229 runs.
Yeah.
But because it's England, we tell them, okay, it must have been good bowling. But that pitch also had no demons. England just played bad shots. Here, you could argue that Zampa getting that grip, getting that turn, even the best of teams would struggle.
So I remember that England game, that England game, maybe it was the Afghanistan bowlers that were using their skill so well. But on certain occasions, it was looking tough to bat on. Not that England did themselves any favor. They batted poorly, I agree. But certain scenarios where the ball was gripping, turning, it did look, kind of tough. Again, as I said, was it because of the pitch? Was it because of the superior skills that the Afghanistan spinners possessed? I don't know. But it did seem tough at that time. Unless it kind of gets really tough to bat on in the second innings, as probably Netherlands experienced today, or as how Afghanistan experienced the other day. India were so good that there was no case. Although India gets slightly different pitches.
I was actually talking about the England-South Africa match at Wankhede.
Okay.
Similar, 399 South Africa had posted. England were 101 for 8. Game over. Right in, right there. And that time it was a combination of bad shots plus a semblance of good bowling. That Wankhede pitch was a road. Here, you could say good catching. Look at the Warner catch and look at Zampa, the guy. He's rediscovered that form after the Sri Lanka match. He's getting grip, he's getting turn. Why do you think Australia do well in the subcontinent? It is no coincidence. Whenever Zampa does well, Australia do well. March, it was Zampa who did well for Australia. That's why they won that series. Look at the T20 World Cup. His guile was the main reason why they won that series at T20 World Cup. Here, now he's the leading wicket taker also. If he continues in the same way, and remember, you're going to play matches in Dharamshala, which can assist spin.
That to a day game.
Then you are playing in Ahmedabad. Then you're playing in Mumbai also. He's going to be the difference maker.
Yeah.
No, so are you guys all, and this is a question maybe we can throw open to everyone who's watching, is as Indian fans, actually I don't know whether should I include you as an Indian fan?
Yeah.
By the way, I must tell you, I met somebody yesterday. I had gone to Saket, actually to the Apple store, because I'd been meaning to go for a very long time. If you remember, while reporting in Ahmedabad, I'd lost my earplug. And the thing is, after that, yesterday I had to do a few lives, and I could not because only one was working. Sometime I could not hear the anchor properly after Afghanistan. So yesterday I said whatever said and done, I have to go buy the other side because all my lives get affected. So I went to buy to the Apple store my other bit before it shuts. So I had to reach before 9 o'clock before it shuts. So I reached in time. Just when I was going, I met somebody at the mall. He said, "Oh, Nikhil, I watch sports today. Big fan. Thank you. This and I watch all you guys. I just have one request." I said, "Please tell Siddharth not to be, spewing hate on Virat so much. Yeah, why does he hate Virat so much?" I said, "No, he does not hate. I mean, just he has a different point of view which he likes to put across." So I in that rush, I forgot to ask his name, and so, but I thanked him and I left. But I thought I must tell you when I meet you. I did meet somebody in the mall yesterday where the Apple store is in Saket, right after I had purchased my airpod.
He should have watched the Dharamshala live.
Yeah.
I wanted Virat to get that 4900
Yeah.
because he deserved it. He had conquered all his demons at that time. He had conquered left arm spin. He had conquered left arm pace. The pitch was getting trickier.
But you followed that up with 3 Hindi words also.
4.
4.
Vinash Kale Viparit
Yeah.
Buddhi. But that kind of shot, I mean, that is not the Virat we know, yaar. He doesn't go for glory hits. He plays percentage cricket. And that's helped him 99% in his career. Where have you seen Virat Kohli go for a glory hit? Never. Right down the ground, you can penetrate the gaps. What's been working in his template? That's the thing he does. He's going way out of his comfort zone to get to a milestone.
All my advice is that I can go in public like that without wearing. You should go with some bodyguard or something before somebody catches you like that.
Oh God, why?
No, but on a serious note, what I have seen a lot of time, there are a lot of people that I meet who come and say they don't agree with something, but they are very good natured about it. So all the anger and hate and abuse that I experience on social media, I don't know if you guys do, but a lot of time, you put a comment out and they send you a lot of hate. But I'm guessing when I meet people in person, I never see that hate. So unless they reserve that only for social media, because you can't see their faces, so they can say anything. When they meet in person, much nicer. Or it's just that I haven't come across the ones that spew that hate.
The fanatics.
But that it can't be. It can't be that everyone that I met, none of them are the ones who spew that hate. Must be some. But it's just that it's easier to do it on social media. In person, you don't want to do it, so you're much nicer. But most people are very good natured about it. Even the guy yesterday, again, sorry, I don't know if you're watching now, but he regularly watches Sports Today. He says he loves all our shows, so thank you. Forgot to ask his name, but at least I've passed on your message, and you've got an answer also.
Got it. Yep. There is never any hatred. It's just fact.
So just on the subject of, if you're talking about hate, and this is pertaining to this, and that was going to be our next question, because honestly, the way Australia is playing, and I put that tweet out. I said that if they do qualify for the semis, which I think they will, no team would want to face Australia in semis. So to which a lot of people replied saying, "Arey, you're making too much after a Netherlands game." I'm not. So it's not a question of them playing against Netherlands. And by the way, as I just pointed out, Netherlands are no pushovers. Yes, they're not in the same league as some of the top teams, but they've qualified here and they've done an upset already. So that's what. But I'm just saying why I said that was that, to which a lot of people said, I just want to show you some nasty comments that, people. So like somebody put out, no team would want to face Australia, no team would want to face South Africa, no team would want to face New Zealand. Then how will the semis be, settled? A lot of people say that. Which is, so my point is, I am not saying that this is a, that other teams are not dangerous. But I want to know from you guys, what I am trying to say is that yes, any team you play will be tough. But if I'm an Indian fan, and that's the sentiment, because a lot of you didn't get it. Sentiment is, if I'm an Indian fan, then out of all the teams, Australia becomes tricky because of how they really turn it on big clubs. You will, and a lot of people pointed about 2011, but the difference in 2011 was that Australia weren't that great a team, and even there you huffed and puffed.
Yes,
it could have gone anywhere. If it wasn't for that Yuvraj inning at the end, you're gone, done and dusted. So it would have been very, very tough. So people pointed that thing out. I just took one comment. I want to take one or two more just so that you understand the sentiment where it's not that when I say it's going to be tough, what I really mean by that is, so somebody pointed out, again a smart aleck, he said, yeah, of course no team will want to face any other team, they would wish that they are crowned champions without playing only, just like how Asian Games gold was achieved by the men's team. Somebody even said that. So no, you won't see it in comment because a lot of them are quote tweets, so you won't be able to see that power. So I'm just saying that again, you know, you got to understand, and I still maintain that Australia on a semi-final day, I know that New Zealand has been your bogey team, but I'd rather take New Zealand. I know South Africa are looking good, but I'd rather take South Africa in semis because I know that they might panic. I know that, you know, England could qualify out of the blue if they play a side, but I still rather take England because I think on a given day, despite what happened in Adelaide, in your home conditions you can choke them. If Pakistan were to qualify, I'd take Pakistan any day because I know you're a superior team. So I'm just giving you examples of teams that you could face. Most other teams, I wouldn't be, of course, going into a semis, whoever you play, you'll have butterflies in your stomach as an Indian supporter, but I'd still take them. Australia is a team that, you know, maybe it's the generation I grew up. I know on a big day, anyone can go mad. For example, Glenn Maxwell will not score any runs now for the remaining 4 games for Australia. 0, 5, 10 could be his scores. On a semis, he'll come 80 balls, 140, done. And you bat first, you get 370. Even though India is in good form, it'll be tough to chase. Zampa is back in form. Any batter there between Warner, Maxwell, you know, Mitch Marsh on a given day. Agreed. Indian team better. Clearly much better than the Australian. I'm just saying they are a dangerous team. So as an Indian fan who would want to see India go into a final and break that semis hoodoo, I take any other team other than Australia. Assuming Australia also qualify, but I'll still say India will start as the favourites. But I will be more worried as compared to other teams. Those are my thoughts, but
actually we were talking about this during the mid innings also, that Australia is getting to their peak gradually. I remember they had lost 2 in 2 games and we had this debate that will they be able to qualify in the top 4 or not, when you even mentioned that if India would have been at this position as of now, then would have you ruled them out or not. So that is why they have gradually warmed up in the tournament. Everything has been is falling in place for them. Now they even have the headache of whom to drop, because Labuschagne wasn't getting runs till now. He has got those 61 odd runs today. So now when someone like a Head comes in, they have a healthy headache of whom they would drop.
There's no healthy headache, but
Yep. And then they have someone like Marsh has performed, Warner has gotten that 100, and again it's the same thing on a big day. Even if India ends up playing with Australia in the semi-final, you know, even if India loses because of one great performance from someone like a Maxwell or someone like a David Warner, it will not make India any less team. But it's about the day, it's about the big day. We haven't done well recently on big days, and Australia has those cool nerves to do well on the knockout stage.
I mean, look, Australia become an alpha team when it comes to knockouts. I mean, look at the 48-year history of ICC events. They have lost in the final only twice. Whenever they have reached, they have either beaten them, they have handed out big wins. I mean, in fact, in finals, I can't recollect, apart from 1987, which final did they achieve a very thrilling win. It was all one-sided. That's the dominance of Australia. Semi-finals 2019 fine. England played inspired cricket to dump them out in Edgbaston.
Also, that Aussie team was kind of down and out. They had, lead up. I think it was all after that sandpaper gate. Probably their lowest ebb that they'd reached. Even losing series at home. I think now you've seen that comeback.
Yep.
India played outstanding cricket to beat them. But as I said, they were on the downward slide. And now where they have reached, I think, is slowly getting back to what we saw them in the WTC final.
Yes.
That also, I think India started off as favourites, but you saw what happened at that thing. What I'm saying is they get dangerous towards, these latter parts, semis, final. Their pedigree is such, which is why. Does it scare?
It does. Because if you look at the form of the India batters and the Aussie batters, if they click, they are
now Aussie bowlers as well.
Yes.
Zampa in fine form. Hazelwood is in good form too. Stark doing well today.
Yeah.
But Hazelwood was very economical last game as well, and the kind of bowling they have. By the way, on the subject, just wanted to answer you saying that headache that they'll have once Head comes. I think you can drop Green easily.
Yes.
You're not even using him as a bowler, batting too low down the order.
Yep.
Bring in a Head, and you have still enough bowling with Mitch Marsh now bowling, and you'll have your 3 fast bowlers.
And you'll have Stoinis also back. Remember?
Yeah.
Stoinis, Green came in place of Stoinis.
Yeah.
And Stoinis was the guy who gave you those breakthroughs in the Pakistan game.
Yeah, but if Head comes, I think it's going to be Labuschagne who's going to.
Yeah, and mostly Marsh stays at number 3, if I'm not mistaken, Smith at 4. Then Stoinis comes in, Green goes out.
Shamko.
As simple as that. Because man to man, if you look at it, sure, they may have a Rohit Sharma or a Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli is a difference maker in the middle. Steve Smith is not so much of a difference maker in the middle overs. However, at the opening, Warner can set the tone, Marsh can set the tone, or Head can set the tone. Rohit has set the tone.
Assistant coach.
So,
Afghanistan.
that is why it's going to be a big toss-up now. Looking at this dynamic, see, Australia face 2 very crucial games now. New Zealand on October 28th and England on November 4th. Those 2 will determine where they finish in the points table. Because I feel at this point in time, India might still finish on top. They might still finish on top. Australia, where they finish, will depend upon the games between New Zealand on October 28th and England on November 4th.
Let's see the game since he's talking about. Let's take a look at. So no, none of us have any doubts that Australia not qualifying.
If there is one
points
team,
table, Pawan, points table.
Yeah. If there is one team that India need to be wary of, it's Australia.
Click on the right tab.
No.
The schedule.
Siddharth,
Yeah,
he won't know.
I'll tell
Like
him.
the finger, he won't see where it.
Pawan, 1 minute.
So we're just taking a look at what their remaining games are.
Yeah.
So they've got New Zealand, tough game coming up. They've got England, tough game coming up. Afghanistan, now with what Afghanistan has been doing, tricky game coming up.
In Mumbai.
Bangladesh, the only one that you'd say that they easily start favorite, because again they've got thoda sa upar jana, Pawan, please. So they've got 6 points in 5 games, right?
Yes.
So which means 3 wins, which means 3 to be very safe. Now New Zealand, England, Afghanistan. Ooh, it's still not guaranteed, my friend.
But I think they can beat New Zealand. England, I think, will be the
But
England will be the
game.
tough one.
Yeah.
England will be the tough one.
Even New Zealand is a 50-50 game.
I think Australia start as the favourites. They have that mental hold over New Zealand when it comes to bilaterals and ICC events at this point. Forget 2015.
I'm not sure. In fact, I'll look at it differently. I think England, they probably will hammer. I feel. Where is England game?
England games in Ahmedabad.
In Ahmedabad. England, they could get the better of. If I had to pick between New Zealand and England, I think New Zealand will be a tougher. Where is New Zealand?
Dharamshala.
Dharamshala day game. Oh boy, I'm going in New Zealand. I'm picking New Zealand in Dharamshala versus Australia.
Yep.
So it
You're
comes down
picking
to
Australia.
I'm picking Australia, yes.
Who are you picking? New Zealand, Australia?
I'll pick Australia only because I feel they're still getting
Australia. England, Australia?
Australia.
England.
Australia.
Okay. I'd pick Australia there. So let's say evens it out. So assuming, if I take everyone's opinion, Australia losing 1 between New Zealand and England, right?
Yes.
Let's take that. They'll lose 1, which means that they will then have 3 losses.
Yep.
Okay. Then Afghanistan, Bangladesh, they should take.
They should. But Afghanistan is in Mumbai. So
that's advantage to them, in fact.
Advantage, yeah. That is if they win the toss and bat first.
Yeah. Okay, assuming they beat Afghanistan, Bangladesh, so that takes them to 5 wins.
5 wins.
5
No,
wins.
6. No, they've got 3.
No, I'm just talking Afghanistan, Bangladesh.
That'll be 5 wins.
There'll be 5 wins, which means to be safe, they'll need to beat 1 between New Zealand and England
yes.
to be certain of qualifying.
Yep.
They should do that. So I think they'll make it. But I wouldn't be surprised if they lose both.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is you're playing tough teams. You're playing tough teams that can match you. That's one way of avoiding Australia in the semi-final. They lose New Zealand and England. That said, they may still lose that and still make it. Because 5 wins can also take you because of the dogfight that's happening on the 4th position. So that will get interesting. But yeah, I kind of agree. I see them winning at least 3 out of the 4, which should be enough for them to qualify. So they then become the 4th team.
And if you end up playing Australia, that semi-final might just be in Mumbai also.
Oh.
That will be in Mumbai.
Yeah, that will be in Mumbai.
India finished top, and if Australia finished
first and
4th,
fourth
then you're playing
somewhere.
Wankhede, big scoring. Or can I add something on that? Wankhede, yes, get a lot of run. But don't be surprised when India playing Australia and Wankhede, you get a drier pitch.
Could happen.
Though Australia would now, begin to believe with Zampa, the form that he's showing, that you could do. But I think Indian batters, Indian spinners, whole condition might suit them. And by the way, even if you, let me be honest, even if you do get a typical Wankhede pitch, I still think India start favourite, because that's how good they've been in this tournament.
Yeah.
Much better than Australia. It's just that we're saying they can be dangerous on a given day. That's true. But I'd still give India the edge, even if you have a typical Wankhede 350 kind of a pitch.
Even then, I think India, if they chase even 350, 360 against Australia, they'll fancy themselves.
But the problem is we haven't done that yet in the tournament, and I know we have been in great form, pretty good form, but always till the time it's not done, we cannot consider it being done because that monkey is still on the back. We haven't chased down that total firstly in this tournament yet. The one time we got out cheaply, the top order, that day we were chasing just 200. That day also, if that catch would have been taken by Mitchell Marsh, if I'm not wrong, it was Mitchell Marsh.
Yeah, Mitch Marsh drop.
Then that game could have gone in any other direction also.
Plus, can I tell you, while I have full faith in this Indian batting lineup, semi-final, that high score, you are not chasing.
Yeah.
Let's reverse the situation. I won't even give Australia a chance to chase. Semi-final pressure is very different. Very different. Which is why you see that as soon as you reach the knockouts, they start becoming cagey affairs, where you are slightly more circumspect, slightly more careful, slightly more. Though India, I like India's approach this time, and I think Rohit Sharma is trying to bring that about, that no matter the situation, no matter the game, we play a kind of cricket. But it's easier said than done. Suddenly you're playing a semi, it's do or die, one mistake, you're gone. Your natural instincts get curbed. So there, like in a knockout game, a 280 is like 320, a 320 is like 350, a 350 is like 400. That sort of thing does happen. So you wouldn't want to be chasing a big total. But who knows who bats first, and India puts up that big total.
Exactly.
And then even I wouldn't give Australia a chance if they have to go out and chase something like a 360.
Agreed. Can we have some questions?
From tomorrow onwards, you're going to get all very important games.
What's the game coming out tomorrow?
Tomorrow it's England, Sri Lanka. England, good, very important game for England. 27th, you have Pakistan, South Africa. That could be your table churner. Then 28th is Australia, New Zealand. 29th is India, England. So it's going to be a very, very important thing. Ashish Dhar, timeless classic. Sachin gets Lara out in the Hero Cup, of course.
Absolutely.
Stumps cartwheeling.
Yeah. That Hero Cup semi-final against
Kolkata. West Indies, India West Indies. And they face South Africa in the final, where
very defended.
6 runs, I guess.
Runs.
Yep.
Sachin Tendulkar, the bowler, was.
And death bowler par excellence.
And do you know the story about that match, the final match? The Sachin Tendulkar.
Yeah.
So apparently it was, it came under scrutiny when the whole match fixing saga, the can of worms opened up, where there were charges leveled against Mohammad Azharuddin and a few other Indian players. At that time, that was one of the games that was under scrutiny, that India-South Africa game. So apparently, it was said at the time that that was a game that India had or Indian players, the captain included, they were allegedly had taken money to lose that particular game. And so the decision to give Sachin the last over probably was driven by the fact that he will lead those winning runs rather than he'll defend. And Sachin, being Sachin, was outstanding and pulled a rabbit out of the hat against anyone's expectation and helped you win that game.
I thought the 1996 match was in scrutiny during the Azharuddin affair, because I thought South Africa had dominated India in the entire Tri-Nation series, which involved Australia as well.
The one where
They
Not
made
96, no.
225 in the final in Wankhede, but
Yes.
South Africa collapsed. I thought that
Yeah.
match also came
That
under
may have
scrutiny.
come to. Another one that did come under scrutiny from the South African side was the one where South Africa lost from a winning position where Yuvraj took two stunners.
2002 Champions Trophy.
Yeah, where he took two stunners
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and they.
They lost by 10 runs.
Yeah.
Gibbs retired with cramps.
Yeah.
And Callis 97. Oh.
So South African cricket was in a real mess.
Exactly. But Sachin Tendulkar, forget that. If that is a tainted thing, Mohali 1996. 6 runs Australia to get Tendulkar gets the wicket. They win.
Yeah. Tendulkar, the bowler, is very underrated. It's an outstanding bowler. And to have that kind of, like, people spend years, if you're a leg spinner, to get the ball to turn, to learn the googly, to get it to pitch right. Years.
Yeah.
Same for an off spinner or a medium spinner. He could do everything. Despite this being his secondary skill, where he had to spend that much time working on his batting because that was his primary skill, and yet could find himself time to
I
master
know.
leg spin, off spin,
Medium
pace, seaming in, seaming out, anything you want. Anything.
I think Gavaskar sir called him Khichdi, right? He's a Khichdi bowler. Mixture of all.
I tell people that he was just born to play cricket. As in, there was just his knowledge about the sport, the things that he comes up with, the things he could do with either the bat or a ball. Absolutely incredible.
Could he bowl
Unparalleled.
left arm also? Could he bowl left arm?
He never bowled, but he was a lefty.
Ambidextrous he was,
No, he was, but everything else he did lefty. Like right, eat, everything lefty.
Oh, he writes left.
Yeah, he's a lefty.
Oh, I thought.
Not ambidextrous, no, lefty.
Okay.
He writes left-handed, he eats left-handed.
Oh. That I
It's
don't
just his batting was righty and bowling was righty. That's it.
Well, this isn't something I share with him in common though.
Achha, you're a lefty.
Yeah, and I do
everything
play
righty. Yeah, that's because what happens is, I'll tell you why. Because you're playing, when you start playing in your gully and all of that, now you just start doing what everyone does. So this is how everyone stands, and you start hitting like that. Everyone bowls, you start bowling. But he was a lefty.
Ganguly had to force himself to be a left-handed batsman, is it? Because he was a natural righty.
He's a righty.
Ah.
Ganguly is righty. He bowled righty,
Ah.
but just batted.
Batted left. My goodness, I didn't know Sachin was purely a left-hander.
left.
I thought he was ambidextrous, could do all.
Only left. So, lefty. So if I've had the privilege of eating a few meals with him, he just is lefty completely.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So, Karthik K from the US is like telling us, India has overcome Oz fear in last few years with test wins in Oz and ODI wins in World Cups as well. Maybe for a fan it is, but for players it ain't.
Maybe I think there is some sort of truth in what he's saying. Maybe for fans, I could be a valid point. Maybe for us watching from the outside, it's a different perception. Though you must remember that 2015 loss, there would have been some players there.
Rohit, Virat. Rohit was there. Virat was there.
Shami was there.
Shami was there. Ashwin was there.
Yeah.
That's about it from that current squad.
But he also makes a point, and I think after that you've had those 2 test wins and all of that would have surely helped you overcome that any barrier that you may have. I wouldn't call it fear, but any barrier that you may have had, it would have helped you. Now this Indian team, when it goes onto the field, they do not feel inferior to anyone, and that's the truth. That's the kind of confidence these players have. So
Yep.
I would kind of agree on that as well. Ashish Dar says, how about chokers battling in South Africa? India, South Africa, I'd take any day.
Yeah, I'll take any day. In fact, that's the only team I would want India to play with in the semi-finals.
I would take that, despite the good form that they're showing, all of that.
Yeah.
But I'd take South Africa.
But I think South Africa are trying to turn their fortunes with a vengeance.
Yeah.
Because they've thrashed England and they didn't beat them for close to a decade. Now, the way how they've beaten 2 established teams, be scared.
Okay, Vivek says, ना मैक्सी का डर है ना वार्नर का, नॉकआउट पास आ रहा है, स्मिथ को कॉन्फिडेंस मिल गया है, 100 प्लस एवरेज इन नॉकआउट, 350 करेगा if Smith. India, what he's saying is that Australia will do 350 plus if Smith. That's true actually. Big match player.
Smith is a clutch player. I mean, that 2015 World Cup, quarter-final 50, semi-final 100 against India, then a final 50, 19 also, semi-final 50, World Test Championship 100. clutch player if you want, Steve Smith. So, yep.
Which is why I'm saying that now all those pieces in the puzzle are coming together slowly and gradually. Whether it's Mitch Marsh and Warner on top, whether it's Smith and Labuschagne consolidating, whether it's the out and out hitting of a Maxwell, even a Stoinis to that extent when he'll come head. Then Inglis has been in good form, so it's just everything. And now with the bowling, you see Hazelwood's been very good. Starks now started doing things with the ball, and Zampa just stand out. So it is coming together for them. So,
yep, it is.
But Karthik again, he makes a valid point. I kind of agree. He says our bowling won't allow them to score 350 plus, which is what I agree with. And that's been India's strength. Every time a team has tried to take them on, they found places to pull them back, and that's India's biggest strength. The batting was always India's strength. You kind of thought that the batters will do it for you. They continue to do it, and now from the top, middle, everyone. But you're right. It's the Indian bowling which has really been the X factor, which has really pushed India, India definitely clear-cut favourites for the title, head and shoulders above everyone else. Don't mind us, talking about Australia and their threats, which is also realistic. But still, India far ahead, and it's primarily because of the bowling. So I think Karthik makes a very valid point.
Satish B is like saying, feeling bad as an England fan. Well, England have only themselves to blame for it, because they lost very heavily to Afghanistan. That exposed what was the weakness in them. All their players going out of form at the wrong time. Now they have to face Sri Lanka tomorrow, then they face Australia, then they face India, and they face Pakistan. You've got a very...
no Archer coming back, huh?
Yeah.
For all the conspiracy theories, no Archer coming back.
I know. It's a Bryden Cars from South Africa.
Oh, one of our England fans, that's why you don't see Shane nowadays. He is retired. He is so heartbroken with England not doing well. He has said that it'll take him a week to recover. Hopefully he should be back by the time he's recovered. Maybe he's waiting for a couple of England wins and then he comes back.
Yeah, hopefully he comes back by 31st, because he would be, if England win, he would be celebrating the win over India for 2-3 days. Maybe. So Prithvi Patnaik is telling us, sir, if Sky was Australian, he would be in the 11 instead of Maxwell. Very unfortunate for him. He's the only player in the Indian team who can play an innings like this. Team management have to find a way to play him. I would suggest KL at 4, Hardik at 5 and Sky at 6.
Now, by the way, you're overestimating. I am a big Sky fan, but let's limit it to T20 cricket. Let us see evidence of this thing happening in ODI cricket on a consistent basis for us to then equate him to Glenn Maxwell. If you talk about T20 cricket, I think at the moment, even though Maxwell can be very destructive in T20, we've seen it. But at the moment, if you ask me to pick a batter, if I was the captain picking one between Maxwell and Sky, current form, I'll pick Sky in my T20 team any day. But this is ODI cricket, my friend. You ask me to pick a player between Maxwell, Sky in my 11, I'm going Maxwell any day.
Yep.
Any day. There are enough innings there to tell me what he can do. I'm afraid in the 25-26 ODIs that Sky has played, barring an inning or two, which also haven't had that kind of impact that Maxwell does. So I'm not going Maxwell.
I do kind of agree with the question. Not in place of Shreyas for sure, in place of someone like a Shardul, he can be that extra batsman. And the reason for that is that he gives you that X factor, lower down the order, what someone like a Rishabh Pant could have given you if he was fit. This Sky is someone exactly what Glenn Maxwell has done today. Sky is someone who has that capability of doing that. I do agree with the fact that the sample size, that however much we have seen Sky in ODIs, he hasn't done well. But I think he's in two minds while batting in ODIs, that does he have to play the T20 way or in the ODI way. That is where the mindset is switching.
No, that is fine. I'm saying, but how does he come into your 11 in place of whom? You're saying Shardul. But then do you have him batting till 7? You know that the Indian team has made it very clear that we want batting at 8. And we could look at it differently, but I'm just saying how the management looks at it. Yeah. And it's very interesting that we have that interview up with Robin where I spoke to him about this, that assuming Hardik comes back, still play the 3 fast bowlers or whatever way. Yeah. This is the only way you're saying, right? Have Sky with no Shardul. But and get then Hardik if he's back to bowl the full quota of 10 overs. But But then again, firstly you risk Hardik to bowl that 10 over. We don't know physically game after game he can do that. That's one. Secondly, no batting at 8. To which is Robin is right. He's like, it's just that we keep looking at a few games and then deciding. And he gave an example. He said, let's say you're playing South Africa in the semi-final, and they're a good batting side, they put up 340. You will need batting till 8 that day. What if you lose a few wickets? You need somebody to come get you the last 30-40 runs even in that position. So there can be argument made from both ways. All my point is that we have to then work in the framework, or at least decide our 11 in the framework that we know the Indian team is going towards. So it's clear that they have decided they need batting till 8. If that is the case, then it's tough to fit in Sky. How do you fit him in?
No. You're only fitting him now because Hardik Pandya is injured. For 2 more games he's injured. So if the pitch is flat, you're going with the same 11 that you picked in Dharamshala. If there is assistance for spinners, maybe get in Ashwin, Siraj goes out, Shami plays.
His suggestion though is
different.
If I take
Prithvi
Patnaik, he is not actually removing Shardul as he was saying. He is saying he's basically got Iyer out. And that's how he fitted Sky in. But maybe that is something they can look at, but I don't think they'll give up on Shreyas Iyer that early. I doubt that's happening. Maybe a couple more failures, then you look at it. But then there will be an argument that instead of getting Sky to bat and pushing everyone's order differently, let's go with Ishan at 4. They could do that. Why change KL at 5 and Hardik at 6? And that could be.
But that would be a very knee-jerk situation. If you wait for 2 games for Shreyas to fail, that's already your business end.
No. But what do? I'm saying you
persist with him.
That is the first option. Persist. Even I would say that. Now you're going, you persist with him. But I'm saying in case you reach a situation where you have a couple of losses and he still hasn't got you runs, then you'd be like, I need to fix that area. You can't go in the semi-final. Then what will happen? Let's say if you were to lose 2 games, okay, from here on, everything is hunky-dory now. But let's say 2 tough games in England, South Africa, let's say you lose, okay. You still, of course, qualify for the semi, and he's not got you runs those 2 games. There are already question marks about him. Gauskar has already spoken that, listen, he's getting chances. So then you go to the semis. One way is you persist, you go, no making changes. But if you don't and you lose that, then everyone's going to say, hindsight, what is it? He wasn't getting run throughout the tournament. Semi-finals, you should have fixed that issue. Bought in somebody.
But he hasn't done that bad that you need to drop, because he's got 130 odd. He has gone.
No, I'm saying if the 2 games you were to lose and he doesn't get run, you will reach it. See, I'm just saying right now there's just murmurs. You ask me, I'm not dropping him. I'm playing him. I'm not panicking at all. I agree. But I'm saying if it was to be, look at the worst case scenario, right? If it was to be you lose 2 out of that, that's when conversations start. Right now, nobody would want to change anything. Then you will say, then what do you want to do? Oh, do I do? There's a problem at number 4 once again. You will say that, and then you will say, oh, you're playing semis, and then assuming you're sitting on the eve of the semi-final, I'm sure that opinions would be divided. There would be half the country saying, no, boss, already he had enough. It's a big semi-final. Bring in a lefty, bring in Ishan, he had got you, something like that. Or some might say, no, too late, don't make any change. But it's a debate, which is what will keep us going. We'll do a couple of.
Some will say, get Sanju Samson in.
I heard this today also. If Hardik Pandya gets rules out, then call Sanju Samson.
Okay. Saurav Mukherjee is like asking us, yesterday you guys questioned Pakistan regarding requesting specific ground for their opposition. So did we. So are we not competent to win the World Cup? Double standards.
No, India did not request anything. India, whatever grounds they've got, wherever they've played. Just that there have been occasions where on the ground that you're playing, pitches have kind of suited you. So for example, if India had to ask for every ground, why would you want to play New Zealand in Dharamshala? Right. Why would you want to play South Africa in Eden? I'm just saying, why would you want to play Afghanistan in Delhi? Which sometime it can turn, as they did versus England. So, I mean, you can look at it differently. Different matches could be looked at differently. So, there was no tic-tac or any sort of a thing from the Indian camp. Yes, each home team, and this is not a written rule, but it's an unsaid rule. If you're playing at home and that's the home advantage, the pitch will be kind of suiting your style of play than the other. But the venues won't change. And if you're a team that's traveling, I don't think in India asked that we want to play England in Manchester or something like that. Play
Correct.
whoever you got, wherever you got to play, right? Would have said we don't want to play New Zealand in WTC at Southampton. You know, we want to play Lords only. No, that happened. Play where you got.
Exactly. No, India has never made any opposition on playing venues ever. When we have to look at it, except for security issues. Once Pakistan, they declined. Okay, we won't do it in '84.
No, I think the Pakistan team now also for security reason are not playing in Mumbai. Which is fine.
That's been there for 30,
That's
35
something
years.
else,
That's been there. Prithvi Patnaik is again telling, sir, you're right, we are Indian team. We can't play Sky and be like Australian team who play Maxwell, who is most inconsistent. What they have achieved in last 10 years, just 2 World Cups and WTC. He's been very sarcastic here.
No, but the WTC team is not like their ODI team. They played the best test team that there is. But this Australian team also lost 2 back-to-back series to India at home also.
Yeah.
So everything Australia does is not fantastic. This Australian team got hammered by India last World Cup also, 2019. So not everything that they did works. I mean, and I'm not always been a Maxwell supporter, by the way.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's had terrible IPLs and he was dropped, and he was rightly dropped. So, I mean, it's just because you want to have Maxwell because you think a certain way. No one thinking is 100% right. I'll give you an example of England. Their whole thinking, baseball sometimes works in Test cricket, but this whole thinking of aggressive ODI, you're not. So you got to play according to situation, form, what's best. You got to make a smart decision. Australia can't be Australia that no, we are Australia, we will play Maxwell, come what may. He can fail for a... No, they're playing him because of the utility that he brings to them.
Yes.
He's also a bowler, don't forget, a great fielder. You're forgetting all those skills. That's why he's playing. You know, he's been dropped from the Australian team earlier as well. So it's not that they haven't dropped him.
Yep.
By the way.
Exactly. He's infuriating against spinners in particular. He can get out or he can score big. That's the risk. And Australia sometimes have been hurt by them. But
can I tell you, if he continued to have this horrible World Cup, honestly telling you, and didn't get these total, possible Head would have replaced him. Stoinis replaces Green, Head replaces Maxwell. I don't think they would have shied away from that.
maybe, yes. Because Head can also offer off spin.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said off spin.
You would have pushed Labuschagne down the order.
Yeah, with the runs that he's got. You could have looked at it.
Exactly. Definitely want who, but who asked? Just go up a bit, Pawan. Little, yeah. Slightly, yeah. Sai Srivastava is like asking, definitely want India to win. But if not India, who would you love to win the World Cup and why you are picking them? My pick is South Africa.
Good question and a good shout out. I know why he's saying South Africa. Poor guys have never won a World Cup.
Yeah.
And kind of I will have that kind of sympathy to it, because they've always been called the chokers. They've had some great teams of the past that have really not, which deserve to win World Cups, but just could not. Whether it was in 92, whether it was in 99, some outstanding teams. Even 2015, that World Cup, a good team. So they've also had heartbreaks. A good shout. But New Zealand, I guess. It was similar.
Yeah.
Never won. Been so close.
Although they won 2 ICC events as compared to South Africa. But yeah, you would want South Africa to win because you would want that monkey off their back. I mean, we are talking about 10 years not winning an ICC
But you have to
event.
pick one team. Pick yours.
New Zealand.
I'll also pick. By the way, it's a very close call for me between New Zealand and South Africa. I'll say why I would want South Africa to win. I've a great time there, toured there, and as I said, that the kind of talent that they had over the years, which has not fulfilled the promise of winning a World Cup, that would be great. And secondly, I see the game of cricket really suffering in South Africa. It's really going down the hill. There's not too much, cricket being played there as it used to be 20 years ago. So that is dying, and one way of bringing it back, just as it did with England in 2019, really brought cricket to the fore. South Africa will do that.
Yep.
That's be my reason. But why New Zealand? Because New Zealand is always your second favorite team, right? They're such nice guys. New Zealand as a country is beautiful. New Zealand as people are fantastic. So yeah, and small country, punch above their weight. So it's a close call, South Africa and New Zealand, but I'm just giving New Zealand that slight edge.
Yeah, I mean, South Africa, it pains my heart to say the likes of Herschel Gibbs, Jack Callis, Alan Donald, Sean Pollock.
Lance Klusener.
Lance Klusener. I mean, you look at Hashim Amla, Faf du Plessis, Dale Steyn. They have never won a World Cup.
Yeah, Alan Donald, Brian McMillan, that team, Kepler Wessels.
Gary Kirsten.
Kepler Wessels. I mean,
Andrew Hudson, Hansi Cronje, John T. Rhodes. Oh my goodness. Those names never won a World Cup.
Yeah.
How damning can that be?
Yep.
Prithvi Patnaik again is giving us a super chat saying, do you think this playing 11...
Why are you saying it like so? Prithvi Patnaik is again.
I mean, he's very, very determined to ensure that he makes an opinion about it. And I like him
We
for
love
that.
it. Yeah.
We love it. Data scientist. Do you think this playing 11 can chase 350? Because top 6 bats at same tempo. It's a fact we need Sky in that batting lineup because to be honest, our 4, 5 and 6 doesn't give the opposition teams intimidation. Sky would give them. Okay, he does make a valid point. See, Surya is a 360-degree player, but I think he needs the conditions to ensure he becomes a 360. Because in ODIs, where was the one 360 knock that he played? Indore against Australia. But that ground was 50 meters boundary on a road. MP may have the worst roads at this point, but there's one good road that you got.
Do they have the worst road?
Yeah. After the monsoons, their roads become absolutely terrible. And that's why that one patch of beautiful road that you want is at the Indore Holkar Stadium. So their Sky got 74 or 40 if I'm not mistaken. So, see, Sky will give that intimidation option, but maybe Mumbai, who knows? Who knows? Ashish Dhar. Mohali not as World Cup venue. Strange.
We've spoken a lot about it already. We said it at that time. Quite a shame that it's not. Truth be told, as much as I love Dharamshala, but it's not traditionally as big a venue as Mohali. I think, Mohali deserved it ahead of that. But wasn't to be. And the kind of outfield that you've had in Dharamshala also. But I guess some things are beyond us. So.
That's why you got a lot of photos about the beauty of Dharamshala and that stadium, hiding the inner truths that's there.
Yep.
Okay, so Rookie Techie is like saying, with this win, Pakistan gone. Is it? New Zealand versus Australia will decide who will India play against. It seems versus New Zealand if India finishes first and versus Australia if they finish second. Order of final 4, he's saying. India, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand. Wow. Really? But don't count Pakistan out yet, my friend.
I don't think they're making it.
Pakistan, nah.
Not making it.
No, they're not making it.
Not making it. Chalo.
27th, that's the game for them. Pakistan, South Africa.
Yep.
And tomorrow it is England versus Sri Lanka.
Okay.
One more super chat from Prithvi Patnaik.
No, that's okay. We don't have
Yeah.
to take everything. But if you want to, you can.
Yeah. If you think everything India is doing correct, then why have we not won any trophy since 2013? And Oz and England have won because they have the courage to change the way and invest in X factor. Very unfortunate for Sky. But let me be very clear. India were outdone by a better team in 2015 in Australia. Even if you had an X factor, you could not have made any kind of a difference. 2019, well, what can we say? They are playing with 12 people, New Zealand. 11 Kiwis and MS Dhoni. Enough said.
Oh, very harsh.
Very taking it deep,
No,
but
no. I maintain that
No.
if MS was not run out, India were winning.
yeah, because the final over was by James
And if he
Neesham.
wasn't standing till that point, you might have just lost it before.
You would have won it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Karthik K finally says 100% believe India's 15 minutes versus Australia and South Africa are done and we are up for an exciting semi-final and final. India's mindset is now aggressive. Hopefully.
Hope so.
Aapke muh mein ghee shakkar, as they say.
Yes,
Hopefully.
exactly.
So on that note, thank you so much for giving us company. If you joined us late, do check out the entire show. Spoke about a lot of other interesting tidbits and analysis on this World Cup. For the moment, it's bye-bye, good night from all of us here on Sports Today. Join us tomorrow. Interesting game coming up, as Siddharth pointed out.
England, Sri Lanka, Bangalore.
So we look forward to your company.
Bye bye.
Take
See
care.
you.
Vanakkam.
Nandri.